Hello everyone, thank you for joining us for another of EMTV's election awareness programs, Your Vote Matters. This time we shift from the regulators, the stakeholders, the facilitators, to leaders of political parties and get something of their policies and platforms and why you should vote for them. This time the party is the League for National Advancement, and the party leader is Robert Nilkare. Robert, thank you very much for coming onto the show.
Thanks, John. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, all right, LNA. What's LNA all about?
Well, LNA is short for League for National Advancement. The LNA party in government will focus on practical solutions to govern Papua New Guinea. The key objective is to change how we do government, reduce wastage and the resource drain, provide the right incentives for economic growth in the non-extractive sector, and correct the bad decisions in the extractive sector. LNA will focus on fixing the house, even the playing field, and then aggressively pursue partnerships in every aspect of our development agenda. LNA is not afraid to ask the questions and seek help where it is needed. We are committed to regain our respect as a country and to lead by example to our Pacific neighbours and partners.
1986 was the time when LNA, I think, it was an offshoot of Pangu Party. Your father, the late John Nilkare, and the others like Barry Holloway, Carl Stagg, Carl Kitchen, and Tony Siaguru.
Yep.
They broke away and formed that party and teamed up with Pi Swinty later on, I think.
Yes.
Okay, and then LNA. So you are John Nilkare's son.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're reliving that party, and you want to keep that legacy going. What is it about now with LNA and with you that the country really needs to see?
Well, I think the country's sort of come to a stage now where we're going to be 50 in about 3 years' time, or 2 years.
46, right? Or 47 right now?
We're 47. In about 3 years' time, we'll be 50. I think that we need to start modernizing the way we do government, and I think that the existing infrastructure, the existing way of thinking, and how we do government needs to change.
Yes.
And it requires structural change.
Yes.
I mean, we can talk about all the key words like corruption or bad infrastructure, a health system that's failing, education system that's failing. All those things we all know, and anybody getting into politics or anyone that's sort of in the public service or the private sector, we can see it. And the trouble is, how do we fix it? There are existing rules, regulations, policies in place, and legislation in place that can achieve that.
Yeah, and I think you've got 7 points. LNA has got 7 points here. I'd like to go through that. We will go through that.
Yes,
but
please.
First, let me ask you this. Why wait till the eve of the issue of writs to resuscitate LNA? Why didn't you do that 6 months down the line, 6 months earlier, 1 year earlier?
Oh, no, we started the journey about 18 months.
I mean the registration of it, I suppose, or re-registration.
Yeah, so we did start about 12 months ago.
Okay.
But, obviously the process of the approvals, the vetting process with the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, it took that long. We did get the approval some time ago, but like the other parties and other organizations that were going to get certified, I guess we had to wait for an appropriate time where the registrar was available to do all these things. So
it's a process.
It's a process, yeah.
Okay, all right. You are currently the non-parliamentary leader of LNA. You, of course, want to be the parliamentary leader. Which seat is that's going to get you in?
Well, hopefully the Gumini Open seat.
Gumini Open, okay.
Yes, that's my father's old seat.
Is that the seat that your father stood?
That's correct, yeah.
And then he went to regional and unseated Sayambaki.
Yes, no, he was he ran as regional candidate, won that, and then later on went for the open seat and won that as well.
Okay. How confident are you about this seat that you're going to contest?
Well, I'm pretty confident. As long as the system works, and as long as there's no foul play, I think I think I have a very
You have
good
a chance like everybody else.
I have a very good chance, yeah.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, your 7 policies, the new 7 policies of LNA, one that strikes out amongst all is the Parliament, the House, the upper house and the lower house. Give us a few more details on that.
Well, John, I think it's almost common sense now. We've had the same parliamentary system since 1975. Obviously, in 1975, the population of Papua New Guinea was about 3 million.
3, yeah.
Now it's bordering on 10 million. We've had more electorates come in, more provinces that have been established since then.
Yes, yeah.
The country is far more educated now. The reach of government is far greater than before. And with that growth comes your issues as well. Our issues are greater now. We can look at putting in new laws, policies, regulations in terms of trying to live under the old system. But I think fundamentally, we need to fix the house. I think the house needs to change because it needs to evolve. This is not a new thing, as you know. It's under the Westminster system of government. I mean, Australia has it, New Zealand, the UK has it, but it's in a different form, I guess. But what we're trying to do is, if we successfully get in and implement it, the splitting of the House will allow our governors to have a place. So LNA sees that we leave the House of Representatives or the lower house to the open MPs.
That's the current one.
That's the current one, where the governors also sit there. But when we split the House, or after we split the House, the governors will have their own place in Parliament. It'll be called the Senate or the House of Governors or
the upper house.
The upper house,
yeah.
And it'll be a place of review. So any money bill, any change in regulations, any legislative amendments, any new legislation that comes through still needs to go up for review at the upper house. Now, this is very important. Like I said, in my experience in the private sector for the last 20 years, I've seen new taxes, I've seen new amendments to legislation just come through. If you control the majority of the lower house, as it is right now, whatever government it is, whatever political party it is, you can go through the 3 readings of the bill fairly quickly, uncontested. However, if we separate the House, at least it gives the country comfort that there is a place where all these things can be reviewed.
Okay.
So we can't sneak in any new taxes, we can't sneak in any new amendments.
Okay.
And it allows for stakeholder participation when the review process happens. So because it's a structural change, it's not purely academic in terms of those stakeholder engagements, in terms of those legislative amendments, that whether we want to participate in or whether we want to say, no, this is not proper, because you need that debate. The last 30 years of watching Parliament, nobody debates on the floor of Parliament. It's not proper debate.
No. And if there were any debate, it's probably uneducated debate. It's just hearsay. People go in and say,
it just seems like everyone just yells at each other.
Yes. Let me ask you this. What about the vote of no confidence? Will the upper house have a say in when and if the vote can go ahead?
Yes.
That is an important part of it, though. It becomes important in the country.
Well, technically, no. They can participate in the vote, but to say yes or no to the actual vote of no confidence, I think that'll be a constitutional issue. Because even in Australia, I don't think that they allow the Senate to have any say in that.
Will that require constitutional change to create the upper and lower houses?
That is correct. So it will require a constitutional amendment, which will then be followed through by a referendum to change the House of Parliament, the house that governs the country.
Yes.
We will require a referendum. So we'll have to go back to the people, and the people with the proposal that we want to split the House, and then which will require the constitutional amendment, which will then there'll be a vote.